I realized something about myself recently, and honestly, it explains why I continuously quit things in my life. I chase fast results, fast weight loss, fast business growth, fast ways of making money, fast proof that something is actually working. But when it doesn't happen quickly enough, my brain is like, whoa, like this is not working again. And then I go into the whole maybe this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe this isn't what God has for you. This doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel aligned. There has to be something wrong. And then I just get overwhelmed and frustrated and I get tired of trying. And then all of a sudden I find myself saying, like for the weight loss thing for a long time, it was, I'll just get it out of my system and start again on Monday. Like this doesn't feel right. I shouldn't be doing it this way. I'll just start again on Monday, or I'll do better on Monday, or I'm gonna buckle down and do it. I'm gonna be determined and I'm gonna do better tomorrow. Not today. I'm gonna start over again. But the part that I didn't see for a long time was when I didn't see quick results, it never occurred to me that I just needed to stay the course. I just assumed that it wasn't going to work for me or that somehow I wasn't in the right calling or I wasn't following the right thing, for my body or for my life or whatever. I would come up with all these reasons or all these excuses why this certain thing wasn't working for me, but I never really stopped and thought about why. I just assumed that it wasn't for me and that there had to be something better for me, a better way of starting a business, a better way of I guess not a better way, but a different way of eating or a different kind of meal plan or, you know, maybe there's something going on in my body and I should be doing keto or maybe I should be cutting out this food group or maybe all of these different things that maybe I should be different or should be doing different. But before I get into all that, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Nicole, and I used to say that I am on a mission to lose 100 pounds, which in the background I still am. But honestly, now I'm just on a mission to stop quitting on myself. I want to stop quitting on the things that I say that I want and stop quitting going after the desires that the Lord has put on my heart. And I just want to have my own back, to lean into my own God-given intuition and not ask for others' opinions on the things that I feel like I'm being called to do in this life. I've spent a really long time people pleasing and believing lies that I have somehow taken on in my life, whether they were put there on purpose or whether it was inadvertently. There's a lot of things that I believed about myself that I now know were just lies that I was living in. And the only thing that has done is gotten me overweight and gotten me some debt. And it's just time for me to do it a different way. If you're not new here, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so glad that you are here as well. So here is the cycle. I would find someone online that was promising the thing that I thought was missing in my life: a better diet, a smarter strategy, some kind of secret system that they were selling. And I would buy it because it sounded like that was the one thing I was missing. And then I would do it a little bit, kind of half-hearted. I would do a little bit here and there, but then I would not actually see results because I wasn't in it long enough to actually see results. And so when nothing was changing, all of a sudden I'd be like, well, that didn't work either. Again, that must not be aligned for my body or for the path I'm supposed to be living in or walking. Um, I would just get into this whole mindset and I would just think that's not the right step for me. It's got to be something different because clearly this isn't working for me. So it has to be that plan. It couldn't be me. It had to be that plan. And then the cycle would start again. I would find another plan, another new promise, something else to get excited about. And every single time it was the same result. And the hard truth that I had to admit to myself was that it was never the solution or the coach or whatever it happened to be that wasn't working. It was that I never stuck with anything long enough to see results. I was completely chasing fast. But the light bulb moment for me was that things only actually work in life when they're built slowly. Um, Nothing happens quickly as much as everybody on the internet would want to tell you that. That um, whether it's just general things in life or whether it's business, whether it's weight loss, whatever that is, everybody online is preaching quick, fast results. because that's what sells. Um, but honestly, like I really don't blame myself even or blame other people for falling into this trap because our world is so fast anymore. Everything is changing quickly. We have all these modern day conveniences. We have Amazon Prime that I live out in the boonies, out in the sticks, and I still have some things that'll show up that I can get here by tonight. If I order it this morning, I can get it tonight, which is wild to me because that's not even something that's ever been offered in a little podunk town in the middle of nowhere. So that's just crazy to me. But we're so used to all these conveniences that are quick. Like we don't have to wait for anything anymore. We don't have to put in a lot of effort for things anymore. Like everything is just so quick, or so it appears to be on the outside. I mean, you see things all the time like lose 20 pounds in 30 days, or scale your business in 90 days, or hit six figures with this one strategy. Or, I had a client that launched on Monday and they hit six figures by Friday. Like, they don't tell you that these people have been building a huge audience for 5 years and then they decided to sell something and they got these incredible results. Like, nobody wants to tell you that. They want to tell you about their best students that have been doing things behind the scenes for years and years and years, but they tell you about their quick results because that's what sells. That's what people want. Nobody wants to wait to make money. Nobody wants to wait, to lose weight once you decide to do that. Like we want everything like right now. Like it's got to be fast. And so that's the stuff that sells. But nobody's out here really saying, "Do you know what really works?" Boring consistency. Doing the same simple habits over and over and over again. Building systems. I talked about that in my last episode. Like, I didn't want to do systems, I didn't want to have structure because I felt boxed in. When in reality, those are the very things that help me implement the habits that I do over and over and over that actually produce what I'm looking to achieve. Those are the things that actually work. But if we're going to be really honest with ourselves, those things don't sound sexy. And sexy is what sells. So the internet just keeps selling us these quick fixes. And people like me keep buying them over and over and over again. And it gets so frustrating because it's like, I've tried this and I've tried that and I've tried this other thing and nothing ever works. And I'm like the special unicorn that nothing works for. And I'm never going to make money and I'm never going to be thin and all of these things. When in reality, I was literally just chasing quick. And if I would rewind and take all of those things out and just go back to the boring, basic, easy, simple things. Okay, they can be hard sometimes. I'll give you that. They don't necessarily have to be easy, but they're very, very simple. If I would go back to that, if I would have went back to that years ago, I wouldn't be in the body I'm in. I wouldn't be in the debt position I'm in. I would probably have a lot bigger business than I have. But it was chasing these quick things that has totally screwed everything up. And it was like when I had that light bulb moment, like I couldn't unsee it. I was like, yeah, that's what I do. As soon as things start to not go fast enough for me, as soon as I don't see results fast enough, that's when I put on the brakes and I back up and I'm just like, whoa, like this can't be the thing for me. Like I'm gonna go chase this thing now. And it's just been this cycle over and over and over. And like I said, it's cost me in every area of my life, and it's a bummer. Like I'm sad that I got sucked into it and that I got sucked into this microwave mentality that we all have. But the thing is, like, I can't look back and change things. So just having that light bulb moment, I can do better now. I can stop chasing things now. And I find myself daily seeing things on the internet that I'm like, oh, maybe I should just, no, I'm going to back this up. Oh, maybe I should just go get that. No, I'm going to back it up. And it's constant over and over and over every day, pulling myself back into, we're not doing that anymore. That's what I used to do. It's a disaster. I'm not doing it anymore. And it's hard. It's tiring to continue to have that battle with yourself. But I know that that's the only way for me to get myself back on track and to stop chasing those things that is such a promise to have fast results when in reality, the results that they're promising are not what you're going to get. And so lately, I've just been asking myself a different question. And it's, instead of asking like, how fast can I get results? Like basically how little of work can I put in to get these huge, massive results? I've just started asking what are the habits that actually support the life that I want. And that's even another whole episode of the life that I want, because that's something that I've had to do a lot of work on. There's still probably a lot more coming, but the life that I want, not the life society says I should have, not the life that those around me, extended family or whatever it may be, friends, not the life that they think I should have, but what is God calling me to? What desires has He put in my heart? What things make me excited? Those are the things that first of all, I needed to define those, what I want my days to look like, what I'm shooting for my body to look like and feel like, and all these different things. What did I want? And so we started there because a lot of women don't even know that. Like they have no idea what they even want because it's been so many years of people pleasing and, other people just telling them what they should want. And I digress. That's not what this video is about. Um, but that could be a whole nother thing because that's so important. So back to the question I've been asking myself, what habits actually support the life that I want to have? Because when I get quiet with myself, I realize something that in the deepest part of my heart, in my soul, how I was made, how I've always seen life, I don't want a fast life. I hate a fast life. I love slow mornings. I love having coffee and just staring out the window and watching the sun come up or watching sunsets or just sitting outside and watching the deer out in the field or watching the ducks playing out in the water that's very plentiful in my yard right now. But I love that stuff. Like, I don't even want this crazy fast life. Um, I want to eat food that actually nourishes my body, and I want to be able to take the time to experiment with stuff and eat things that I enjoy and see how they make me feel and adjust accordingly. Not because I'm being restrictive and I can't have this and I can't have that, but I ate this thing today and it really doesn't make me feel good, so I don't really want to eat it tomorrow. But there's no room for that back and forth and that testing and getting curious about things when you're trying to do everything fast. And I found myself trying to fall into that again, because my program is called 100 pounds down. And I was like gung ho to lose 100 pounds. And I needed to do it quick because I have to show up here for you guys. And what are people going to think if I'm not like, dropping all this weight and all of these things? And I started to get in my head about it and I started to look for the quick fixes. But in reality, I want to do the things every day that I know are going to make me healthy. I know they're going to help me with longevity. I know that if I focus on all of these things, eventually my weight is going to level out. But I want to do it in a healthy way. I want to do it in a way that makes my body feel safe and that doesn't make me crazy and doesn't have me thinking about food all the time. I just want to nourish my body and I want to live an intentional life and I want to live a slow life and I want to not feel guilty because I'm sitting down reading a book and feeling like you're only 8,000 steps today. You should be at 10,000 steps. You better go get on the treadmill while you're reading that book. Like I literally just want to sit under a blanket and read a book. I just want to bring the stress level down. I want to bring the craziness that has been my life, chasing weight loss, chasing money, chasing all these things. I want to bring it back down to simple, quiet, intentional living. Um, and so that's I've gotten to a point where I'm very comfortable that that's what I want. And that might not look like what other people are selling on the internet. That might not look like what other people want for their life. Some people love the busy life and they love the big city and they love all the craziness. Like I don't. That is not who I am. And so to get the life that I want and the body that I want in the business that I want, I need to just pull it back to basics and focus on structures and routines that feel good to me, but yet also give me something to check off a list, I guess, because I do like to check things off a list. But um like working out this morning and eating a nourishing breakfast and a nourishing lunch and showing up on here and building community and hopefully encouraging other women that are walking through the same things that I've walked through. I know how hard it is, and I know how much we don't have community. So, realizing all of these things has just made it really easy for me to want to pull back and to be okay that it's taking time. Because in the amount of time that I've wasted chasing fast, I probably could have cut that way down and been where I wanted to be because time is passing anyways. But instead, I've just been chasing all these things instead of just letting myself take the time to do the intentional things that will actually move the needle anyways. So, um, one of the places that this has especially showed up, and I talked a little bit about it, is with weight loss. The world just keeps convincing us that the answer is to find the perfect plan, the perfect thing to follow. But the truth is that I already know, most women already know what they should be doing. You eat food that supports your body, you move your body, you get enough sleep, you manage stress. But what keeps knocking us down is what we do with food when life actually gets hard. And for me, it was a cycle because I was making life hard by chasing quick. So um it wasn't even that necessarily I didn't know what to do or um I didn't know what to eat or whatever. It was that I was chasing what everybody else is saying that I should do, which then caused stress, which then caused me to chase another quick thing. And it was just a mess. My life has been a mess for quite a while. There's also, when we turn to food to eat for loneliness or overwhelm or even boredom a lot of times. And there's no diets that teach you how to deal with those moments. So again, I was chasing and then it would stress me out. So then I would want to eat and then I would feel like it was only me that it was happening to. So there's the loneliness. And then because you're stressed, your sleep is broken, which is not helpful for weight loss. Like all these things just compound on each other. And we're just not teaching women how to deal with these things when the root of the whole issue is to stop people pleasing, to find out what you actually want, and then to build systems and structures that fit into your life that feel good for you, that you can actually follow, that eventually become boring. And you just have to stay consistent. Like it's super simple and we make it so hard. So I'm so excited that it seems like a light bulb moment or an epiphany to me. It probably isn't, but I think we don't talk about it enough because our lives are so crazy right now. Um, and so honestly, that's like seeing how much this is changing my life is why I also want to help other women do this. It's to figure out the patterns behind why you're eating. If you don't solve that part, like why you're doing what you do, you can search for the best plan in the world, the quickest promise in the world. But none of it's going to matter if you stress yourself to the point that you find yourself back in the kitchen every night and then you just want to say, screw it, and I'm going to start again Monday. A lot of times that's the pattern. So, right now, like I said, I'm completely stripping it back to the basics. I am not chasing quick weight loss. I do still for sure want to lose weight. I know that that's the healthiest place for my body is not to be at the weight I'm at, but I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to focus on daily what I'm doing to move the needle. And if I nourish my body and take care of my body and all of these different things that come into play, um, it's I don't want to be chasing the scale. I know that my body is going to my I'm trying to think of what the wording is. Um, my body structure, I guess, is going to change. And so just follow or just focusing on doing the things every day that I want to do to move myself to where I want to be is more important to me than what the scale says anymore. I'm not anymore trying to prove anything to anyone. I'm not trying to look the part, so they say, so that I can show up on here and talk about weight loss and healthy habits and all those different things. Like, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. And I think that a lot of us that are trying to show up looking the part, there's a lot of other stuff that's going on in the background that's not necessarily always healthy. So I'm just focusing on building habits that support my body. I am eating to nourish myself and figuring out what that actually is because I have essentially abused my body for a long time. Eating too much, eating too little, eating the wrong kinds of foods, like all of these different things, looking for quick weight loss. But I don't want to do that anymore. I want to eat nourishing foods and eat according to how they make my body feel and what works for my body. Um, Responding to hard moments without automatically turning to food, that has drastically changed in my life. And it's so nice to not have the food noise anymore, to be constantly thinking about food, to want to eat. As soon as something bad happens or something happens that I'm not particularly happy about, I always wanted to run to food. And I still have those desires and those urges, but I can manage them much more effectively now. And these are the things that actually are going to change your life. Like these are the little boring, not sexy things that are actually going to get you to the life that you are hoping to have or that you want to have, or you feel like, there's something more or there's something that you want to do. It's these little habits that people don't talk about because they're just boring, but that's what actually moves the needle. So if this conversation hit a little too close to home, I would love to have you come join my free community. There's a group of women that are done with the start and stop cycle and just want to figure out what's actually driving their eating so that we can get to that consistency. There's no diet culture in there. There's no plans. There's no counting things, nothing like that. It's just honest conversations and people showing up and showing real progress in the way that they're using food or the way that they're relating to food or weight loss or whatever that is. We're definitely getting more into the why than into like actual nutrition and things like that. We want to start with why we're actually going to food and why we have food noise and why we continue to go back into the same patterns over and over, why we can't seem to break out of that start and stop cycle. So those are the big things that we're talking about in there. And I will leave that link down in the show notes. But if you are ready for deeper support, I am also working with women inside my coaching program. And that's where we are going to actually unpack all these patterns. And, you have the ability to be able to go back and forth with me because sometimes we're just too close to it. Like sometimes you just can't see it. And this light bulb moment for me honestly came from a Voxer back and forth with one of my friends who is also a coach. Um, but the more I talked to her and the more I just kind of verbally processed things out, eventually I was just like, I do this in every area of my life. I just constantly am chasing quick. And I can't look back over my life and say, this diet didn't work. That way of building a business doesn't work. They all work for certain people. But if you don't put in the work to actually, like, if you don't stay consistent enough to actually see the results, then you can't say it didn't work. You can say that you didn't work, which is the light bulb moment that I had. So if you're ready for that kind of support, a community of women that are all on the same path and walking this journey out. One way that my coaching is different is I'm not trying to get you to do what I'm doing or to eat how I'm eating or to work out how I work out or to live your life like I'm living my life. Like I want to encourage you to listen to your intuition, to what God is telling you to do, to how he's telling you to eat, to listen to your own body and to learn that, maybe sweet potatoes feel amazing in my body, but maybe they don't feel good in yours. It's those kind of things. Like we're all so individual and I think it's so easy for somebody to lose a whole bunch of weight or again to build a business or whatever it is and be like, well, this worked for me, so now I'm going to turn around and sell it to everybody because if it worked for me, it's going to work for everybody. And I don't like that approach. I want this to be very individual and I want to support you in if you have a feeling about something, you have, that gut feeling that we talk about. It's so important that we listen to that. It's so important that we don't just push that out of the way because we're looking for somebody else to tell us how to do it, or we think that somebody else knows better than we do. That is not true. And that's why we get in these patterns is trying to people please and trying to, make other people happy. And I'm not saying that you're not ever going to make other people happy, but I'm just saying this is why we get into these patterns is because we're looking for everybody else to tell us what to do instead of stepping into our own individuality and our own, what works for our lives, what works for our parenting, what works for our marriage, what works for our body as far as weight loss and how much we even actually weigh and all of these different things. We're not going to talk about, a collective, this is what you need to do. I truly want you to ask the question, like, who told me that? Why do I believe that? Is it true? Do I want that to be implemented into my life? Do I want to live my life that way? That's the biggest thing that I want to talk about in my group. And once we can figure that out, why you're doing the things you do and if there's lies you're believing and whatever these different things are, then you can start to take these steps into doing what is best for your weight loss journey or your health journey or whatever it is that you're feeling called to step into. You can confidently walk in that you're walking the path that you're supposed to walk, regardless of what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is selling, all the quick fixes, whatever that is. Um, you can walk confidently in knowing that you're doing the best thing for you and having your own back. The goal is not another quick fix, and the goal is finally becoming the woman who does not have to start over every Monday. That is my ultimate goal, and I truly feel like that's how you break out of that cycle is stepping into your identity and stepping into the calling that God has for you and trusting that your intuition is the path that you should be walking. And I feel like when we get into that and we don't trust ourselves and we're looking to other people, that's where all the emotional stuff comes in, all the emotional eating and all the chasing quick fixes and all these different things. So if that's something that you want help with and you want more of an intimate container where we are going back and forth in the coaching and there's other women in there to hold you accountable and things like that, then definitely reach out. You can send me an email below. I don't have the link ready for that quite yet, but you can either drop a comment or send me an email, like I said, or as soon as I have that link ready, I will get it also down in the show notes. So that is all for today. I hope to see you guys next time. Have a great day.